The story begins on an island where Samuel, a reporter, is taking pictures. To his surprise, he discovers that all the people on the island are asleep. It remains a mystery as to why they have been sleeping for 3 days without waking up. People are found sleeping in various places like the swimming pool, bus, hotel, and church, with no apparent change in their condition. Moving them while asleep causes a sudden increase in their blood pressure, so they are left where they are. Researchers and doctors arrive on the island to investigate, but they are unable to determine the cause of this peculiar sleeping sickness. Strangely, those who had arrived on the island from outside are not affected. They set up camps to study and understand the situation. Reporters are strictly prohibited from entering the island, but Samuel manages to sneak in and capture pictures of people sleeping peacefully on the bus. In the bus, Samuel notices a woman holding a moving goldfish. Out of empathy, he takes her along to keep her company and prevent her from feeling lonely. The island lacks the usual presence of birds and animals. After taking the pictures, Samuel enters a house where a girl named Stella is sleeping. He observes her closely and leaves to sleep in another room. Unbeknownst to him, 2 researchers are standing outside Stella's house, and Samuel secretly watches them. Being aware that reporters are not allowed on the island, Samuel risks punishment if discovered. Later, Samuel falls asleep in the other room and has a dream about Stella, the girl whose house he was staying in. In the dream, Stella is seen shopping in a mall. When Samuel calls her name, she is astonished and asks how he knows her. He wakes up to find that it is morning. Samuel, while still asleep, listens to the radio and has a conversation with Stella. After waking up, he decides to continue taking pictures. He visits a church where many people are present, captures images of them, and sits among them for a while. Suddenly, Stella appears in his dream once more, this time sitting face to face with him. She asks if he has come to the island to earn money. Samuel responds, saying that he is here to gain experience and hopes to achieve fame in the future. Upon waking, Samuel quietly returns to Stella's house, where he starts exploring her belongings. He discovers her diary, which she used to write in every day. As he reads the diary, he feels a sense of familiarity with Stella, as if he has known her for a long time. Every day, Stella comes and talks to Samuel. He asks her how she feels during the long sleep. Stella shares that sometimes she finds great peace, while other times it feels like she is falling into a deep void. She explains that her sleep began after she came home one night and found her piano teacher asleep in front of the entire class. The mysterious sleeping sickness then spread throughout the island. The next day, Samuel ventures out again. He comes across a car with numerous balloons and starts taking pictures. However, he notices 2 researchers in a nearby building and decides to hide and return home. He realizes that staying on the island could lead to significant trouble. Samuel packs his belongings and prepares to leave. As he reaches the shore to depart, he hesitates, contemplating whether he should go or not. He realizes that his heart is unwilling to leave Stella, as he has developed feelings for her. With this realization, he makes the decision to go back to the island. Every time Samuel falls asleep, Stella appears in his dreams to talk to him. In one dream, Stella asks him the real reason for being on the island. Samuel explains that he had come to the island a year ago for a holiday and had spotted Stella at a grocery store. He followed her to a hotel but didn't have the courage to approach her. It was love at first sight, and since then, they hadn't met. Samuel returned to the island to get to know Stella better. Once again, Samuel wakes up in the real world and goes to the market to buy some necessary items. 2 researchers are also present, and Samuel pretends to be asleep just like everyone else on the island. One of the researchers, a doctor, examines him before leaving with the items she found. As soon as she departs, Samuel has some fun at the market and then returns to Stella's house. He finds more belongings and discovers a tape recorder in which Stella shares her likes and dislikes. Samuel listens to the tape and learns about Stella's unusual preferences, such as enjoying the sound of a Barbie doll, a boat, and a typewriter running in water. He gathers all these things and keeps them, hoping that when Stella wakes up and sees them, she will be delighted. Stella also mentioned her love for going on long drives by the sea. Inspired by this, Samuel enters his dream world again, where he sees Stella ready to go on a drive with him. Stella suggests taking a sleeping man's car, but Samuel hesitates, expressing concerns about stealing. Stella assures him that they are not stealing, but merely borrowing the car for a short while. Stella goes to the man's house and brings back the car keys. They embark on a long journey together. After a while, Samuel wakes up from his dream. Samuel witnesses doctors visiting Stella's house for a regular checkup. They examine everyone on the island each week. In order to avoid being seen, Samuel hides in the closet until the doctors leave. Once they're gone, he comes out and holds Stella's hand, lying down on the floor. The next day, Samuel listens to the tape recording again, learning more about Stella's dislikes and her aversion to loneliness. He falls asleep and dreams of talking to Stella once more. Samuel expresses his belief that everyone has a partner in life and suggests the possibility of them being together in the future. Stella responds skeptically, causing Samuel to realize that he may be wasting his time. He decides to leave but finds himself unable to do so. He returns home and indulges in Stella's favorite things. Once again, Samuel has a dream where Stella advises him to leave. She explains that the Stella he knows from books and diaries is different from the real-life Stella. Samuel starts considering the possibility that Stella may be telling the truth. He questions how someone he has never spoken to could love him, despite Stella expressing such feelings in her dream. As Samuel attempts to leave for the third time, something unexpected happens. He becomes incredibly thirsty no matter how much water he drinks. His thirst continues to escalate, accompanied by excessive sleepiness. He realizes that the island's water is affecting him as well. Despite his condition, he manages to reach Stella's house and falls asleep, holding her hand. The next morning, Samuel wakes up with the understanding that he, too, is succumbing to the island's sleeping pattern. He decides to adapt by typing and writing extensive notes before going to sleep, following the habits of the other islanders. A few days later, Stella's body begins to stir. She awakens from her long sleep, but her strength has diminished after 3 weeks of slumber. With determination, she manages to get up and make her way to the tap to quench her thirst. As she looks around, she spots another toothbrush, leading her to suspect that someone else has been living in her house. This discovery angers her, especially knowing that Samuel had read her diary and listened to her recorded conversations. She attempts to harm him, hoping to wake him up, but her efforts prove futile. Samuel, like her, has entered a deep slumber. During this time, Stella comes across notes written by Samuel containing a story that seeks her forgiveness for invading her privacy. He writes that Stella can only overcome her loneliness by allowing others to reach out to her. Understanding his understanding of her, Stella resolves to care for Samuel in the same way he cared for her. Just as Samuel used to appear in Stella's dreams and converse with her, Stella now talks to Samuel, aware of his likes and dislikes. Several days pass in this manner. One morning, when Stella wakes up, Samuel is nowhere to be found. She searches the entire house until she finds him standing in the kitchen. As she approaches him, Stella realizes that she doesn't just know Samuel for the first time. In fact, she can't remember when she didn't know him. Their connection runs deep, and their conversations flow effortlessly. It's as if they have known each other for a long time. The same woman whom Samuel had once given a fish to has also awakened from her slumber. This time, she holds not just one, but 2 fish, a clear testament to Samuel's influence. It is said that when one desires something with all their heart, they will surely attain it. Samuel had desired something for both Stella and himself, the beauty of a profound connection forged on that island. And with this, the story of this film comes to an end.